Hey guys, Personal Defense, and today I'm going to make a video in what is going to be the start of a series of videos that I'm going to do, and this is going to be a frequent asked questions video. And so this is going to be my first frequent asked question, which is actually it's a combination of a bunch of questions. What kind of ammo do you like for whatever gun? So I'm going to try and answer all those questions with this one video. Alright, so I'm just going to talk about the calibers that I have currently. Mostly the handguns. I'm just going to talk about AR ammo too, but nothing else really as far as long guns goes. But handguns, I'm going to talk about the calibers that I own, and I'm going to start with 38 Special. My favorite 38 Special ammunition is this right here, Winchester PDX. Sometimes they call, oh, there it is right there, Defender. The Winchester PDX Defender. This is 38 Special plus P. This is a 130 grain bonded jacketed bullet, and it's got a nickel plated casing. Let me pull it out here. And the reason I like this ammunition is not the velocity or anything, because I don't think it's that fast. Yeah, it's only 950 feet per second at the muzzle and 260 foot-pounds of energy, which isn't that much, for a defensive round. But I just really like the shape of the bullet and the way the bullet looks. I've seen some ammo tests on ballistic gel, and I think this is a great performing round in any caliber. But as far as 38 plus P goes, this is probably my favorite to carry. So if I had a snub nose 38 or 357, I would probably carry this. I wouldn't carry 357. And in my full-size 38 Special revolver, I keep this ammunition in it. Another one I keep in it, and it's just because it's one that we tested, my wife and I don't know if you remember that, and it happened to be her favorite one, which is the Remington Golden Saber. And they say it's a high-performance jacketed 38 Special plus P. Now this one is 125 grains, so it's a tiny bit lighter than the PDX that I like, but this is a brass jacketed hollow point bullet, and I think it has a nickel plated casing as well. And you can see here, I mean, it's obviously not copper, it's brass, and the score marks or the serrations on this bullet are twisted, as you can see, or rifled. And I've heard rumors, and there's no validity to it, but I've heard rumors that those being rifled like that actually helps with accuracy out of snub nose or shorter barrel firearms, whatever you're going to fire this out of. But I felt this to be a good performing round when we did that recoil test and we did that accuracy test. Right. But as far as defensive ammo, these are the two that I like to keep in my guns. Now, if I'm going to go shooting at the range or just shooting wherever, and I'm not doing it for self-defense purposes, this is typically what I'll shoot. This Remington UMC. This comes with a jacketed hollow point bullet, and it's 125 grain, I think. Yeah, 125 grain semi-jacketed hollow point. It looks like... I had one right here. It is. It's just your normal brass jacketed, hollow point. It's got a soft lead tip. Push came to shove, you could use this for defensive purposes, but it's not a defensive ammo. So there's what I practice with and what I carry as far as 38 Special goes. Alright, so moving on to the caliber that I shoot the most and the caliber that I carry the most, which is 40 Smith & Wesson caliber. My favorite ammunition to carry is this right here, which is also, like I showed earlier, it's similar to the PDX Defender that I showed in 38. This is a Winchester Supreme Elite. bonded PDX-1, same thing, right? 40 Smith & Wesson, like I mentioned, 180 grain jacketed hollow point bonded bullet, and this is just like I mentioned before. Almost the exact same bullet like I showed before with the 38, and like I said, you can almost see the talons in there. Let's just do a quick little comparison. What I have here is the actual from the 90s, the Winchester Supreme Black Talon Deep Penetrator. This is the cop killing, armor piercing, super ammunition of the 90s that was fired out of the God, what did they say? The porcelain Glocks, or the Glocks that could get past any metal detector, blah blah blah. Anyway, this is it. This is I have a couple boxes of this stuff in great condition, like this one is here. So I'm just kind of saving it because it's kind of an icon type thing. So I'm just saving it because it's one of those things. So this is the Winchester Supreme Black Talon. This is 40 Smith & Wesson, 180 grain SXT bullet, which today I think Winchester makes some self-defense ammunition that's called SXT Ranger, something like that. Anyway, here's an actual Black Talon round. You can see here, and I don't know if the light will pick it up, but you can see the quote-unquote talons in there, but we can see how similar this is, from the 90s. This black is just I think it's called a Lubalox coating, which was just supposed to protect the inside of the barrel of whatever you're shooting this out of. But if we look at it next to my PDX, which is my favorite ammunition there, you can see it's the same casing. The bullet size is the same, it's the same weight. And if we look at the actual bullets themselves, see if I can get it to focus here. I mean, they're nearly identical. So, I kind of feel like with the PDX I'm carrying around, a modern day Black Talon. The ammunition that my wife likes to carry in her Glock and likes to keep in her Glock is the good old Hornady Critical Defense. And just simply because, like I mentioned earlier, the way the bullet is designed in a semi-automatic or auto loader, I guess they would call it, it really helps in feeding. Sometimes when you have these big, huge hollow points like that, and you come up against a feed ramp that's not, that might be dirty or that's not super polished or whatever, it could hang and get stuck because it's just a big, flat area. So Critical Defense eliminates that with their pointier than normal bullet and with the polymer tip. So this bullet reacts the same, and everything I said about the 357, same with this. This is a 165 grain bullet. It's not as heavy as the 180 that I like to keep, but this one has 1175 feet per second, and I think that equals out to be about 500 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. So those are the two that, this is kind of like a his and hers right there. And let's not forget about the good old Black Talon. I have one more here that I think is a good, like I mentioned earlier, good practice ammunition if you want to practice with a defense load that's going to recoil a lot. This is the Federal Hydra Shok, the good old Hydra Shok, quote-unquote low recoil. As far as defensive ammunition, that's pretty much the skinny of it for me. Pretty much, it doesn't really depend. It doesn't really matter what gun I happen to be carrying that day. It could be my 22, it could be the 23, it could be the M&P 40. It could be anything pretty much chambered in 40 caliber. I'm gonna keep this PDX in it. My wife only has the Glock 22, so she likes this Critical Defense. So that's the defensive ammunition. Now if I go to the range or whatever, if I'm going just shooting or whatever, I typically buy this. And you know what? I typically buy Federal, the big, huge 100-round packs, just because they're at Walmart and they're cheap. And when we go grocery shopping or whatever, I like to sneak off to the sporting goods section and buy my plinking ammo, so to speak. And this stuff is just brass jacketed. I'm sorry, brass casing. Just full metal jacket. This is 40 caliber here. Like I said, this is pretty much, it's either like this or I'll shoot, I don't know, Cellar and Bellet, just regular plinking stuff, or MagTech. Sometimes I get cheap, but typically, if I'm going to be at the range or just, wherever I'm just shooting to shoot, it's going to be this Federal stuff. So 9mm, I'm shooting that. Now, as far as defensive ammunition, I decided that she wanted some Spear Gold Dot to keep in the Star. And here's what it looks like. It's funny because it's actually, I always kid around because it's the shiniest copper jacket that I've ever seen, and the shiniest lead that I've ever seen in there. Look at that. It almost looks like nickel in there. But you can see the serrations or the score marks. At least these overlap, unlike the Hydra Shok. And then this almost has those quote-unquote talons in there. I don't think this is a bonded bullet. I'm not sure. It may be. But I've watched some videos. Spear Gold Dot performs really well. This is 9mm, 124 grain. This is what she keeps in the Star 30M pistol. This one, I looked it up, is 1,200 feet per second. That's actually pretty good for a 9mm. That's really moving, and that's going to hit with some force for being a 9mm. And the Star has 15+1 in the chamber. I mean, it's no Glock 17+1, but it's got 15+1. It's a heavy, heavy, heavy pistol, so keeping it on target is pretty easy. This is a great, I think this is a great choice for protection ammunition. 9mm, the Star. Moving along, I shoot in my AR-15 a lot. I go through a lot of AR-15 ammunition, specifically .223 ammunition. So on those days when I'm going to shoot a lot at just targets or doing AR-15 drills or whatever we're doing, like I said before, whatever's at Walmart and it's the cheapest, that's what I pretty much get. Here's a Federal 100-round pack. This is another Federal 100-round pack. This is .223 ammunition that feeds reliably through my AR-15. I never have a problem with this. I never have any, it's not dirtier than normal. I think this is great ammunition to shoot out of the AR. So, as far as plinking goes or going to the range, this is what I shoot out of the AR-15. This is the Federal 55 grain. Typically, I'll shoot 55 grain for just, plinking ammunition. 55 grain is what I'm going to shoot. Here it is here. Now, if we're shooting, if I want to shoot some 5.56, this is the type of ammunition that I like for 5.56. This is PMC X-Tac, and this isn't very, this is affordable. And you can get this in, I'm sorry that it's very windy right now, and I'm in the garage, and I have one of those spinny things on the roof, and that's what that noise is. This is very affordable. You can get this in 55 grain or 62 grain, as you see here. This is 5.56 NATO, and it has the green tip. This is PMC X-Tac ammunition. This is some hot ammunition. When you shoot it, you can tell. It's loud, and the recoil is much greater than any other 5.56 that you're going to shoot. Now, when we're talking about defending ourselves, this is the only ammunition that I trust. I'm kidding. I just bought it just because, they have good marketing. But I think this is a basically it's the Hornady Z-Max ammunition, and I think the Z-Max has a red polymer tip rather than this one that has this like zombie green polymer tip. Brass cased, and this is a 55 grain, I believe. And I think this is 3,300 feet per second. Here we go. 3240. So I was pretty close. And like I said, this is the same as the Hornady Z-Max. So I like the Z-Max, and I like the Zombie Max, believe it or not, in 223 for my AR-15. If I was going to shoot a zombie, this would definitely be the ammo that I would shoot that zombie with. Alright, so this video ended up going a lot longer than I wanted it to go, but I hope that I really answered those questions that everybody asked me. You know, what do you shoot at the range? What do you like to shoot? What ammunition do you prefer? What do you prefer in 40 caliber? What do you prefer in 9mm? Etc., etc., etc. I hope I went over everything. And like I said, definitely, you know, out of the caliber that I carry the most, which is 40 caliber, you know, I like Winchester, I guess, basically. Supreme Elite, PDX-1, Winchester Black Talon, the Ranger XT, all that stuff. Second up, I probably like Critical Defense. You can't go wrong with Critical Defense. If you can't make up your mind about what ammunition you want to carry or what you want to use, Critical Defense is a great ammunition. Hornady and the new Critical Duty that they came out with last year, I think they came out with that. That's another great ammunition. But anyway, I hope that you guys took something away from this video, and thanks for watching.